What's up? I had to debate myself before people get here is either watch porn or do this video. And either way, I would have felt disappointed. So let's skip out on the other thing and then wait until you get the real thing, like later on. Not today, but later on. So let's just wait for that. How about that? That's what the debate turned out to be. So, anyways, people. So to do this video, I saw IGN's video. It was, I think it's called Zack Snyder versus James Gunn. And I usually never click these kind of things because, what they try to do, like Zack Snyder's Batman versus whatever other Batman. I don't know, like which one's better. It's like they try to play both sides, and I've seen too many of them. Like they try to play both sides, where like I said about that video about the guy in the gym, where people can watch the same thing over and over again about this guy. He goes after people that don't act the way he should feels that they shouldn't act in the gym, but says the same thing over and over again. It's just like you can only watch so many of those. But I couldn't get very far, and it was just so like I kind of think about in the real world when someone is taking this long to get to the point, for that video of, and I'm like, and I know the outcome. I think the video's like 30 minutes long or 20 minutes long, and I figure not worth it when I'm pretty sure I know the outcome, and you're talking about a whole bunch of nothing, to get to it. Like, there's a lot of things that people say that's going on about this new Superman, about politics and this, like a lot of controversy. In the real world, I don't see it. Like I've seen people have thumbnails about this new Superman. Fox News hates it and all this, but really it doesn't really exist, and you don't need to get into all that. Just get into the title. So the thing is, what I'm saying is, so I was thinking about, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. But then I start thinking about, honestly, really, it's really too hard to do because the movie doesn't like relate with any superhero movie. As in, like, I'm not a big fan of Disney Marvel. Some of them I think they're all right, but it's the new Superman is worse than all of them. So it's kind of hard to compare. You know how people say you can't compare like horror movie with a comedy if you were to try to say which one you like more. Even though you can, is just like the one that you will rewatch and had more fun. But I'm just saying that. But you can't really compare Zack Snyder's or Marvel with this new Superman, Disney Marvel. You can't because the Superman movie is a complete mess. It's just like, what did I watch? A random dragon come in, some random prison that you just feel nothing through. You never really feel like you're just waiting for him to get out, so it maybe something that actually happen. And villains that have powers that just whatever, where Jeremy, I think he did explain it like it started where they needed you know what I'm talking about. I did say that, when they were trying to say that, for Batman v Superman, they were trying to say, no, these people you have to start over. You got to start with their backstory. And then when the movie did actually kind of give basically Batman a backstory, they're like, we didn't want to see a backstory again. What I was saying, is because like everyone knows who Batman's story is, but these people that were doing these things, weird things with their hands, like that girl, I had no clue. I just figure. I wasn't. I actually was racing that movie through the hit my head as it goes. And she has that thing we call animates that like Iron Man had. Is that what she was? Where her powers can just be something like maybe she's in some cartoon I've seen before. Blah blah blah. But no. Yeah. I don't really think I can't really tell you about the Lex Luthor. I'll say one more thing is about is I can't tell you, like, I know I didn't care for him. I don't know if he's the worst one. I did say he was bad, but I don't know if he's the worst one because they all have been forgettable except Batman v Superman. But the thing is, I can't really explain to you with the Superman movie what I watched. When it all comes together, what they say in their reviews, it all comes together in the end, it makes it worse. So this whole time, like, Lex Luthor just hates Superman. That was it. So all these things is like, oh no, I did all this to kill you. I was like, you could have killed him a long time ago. So it actually makes it worse. I'm saying, but and so to even try to say it was trying to, turn into something, then it makes other things seem worse, But whatever, you know, but whatever. But the thing is, you can't like Man, it still feels like a story. That one just feels like I don't know what I watch. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, like I can bring up like, something besides Zack Snyder. And I was thinking about this. And like, let's say Captain America, Iron Man, a story. You still can't compare Iron Man or Disney Marvel to that Superman movie. There is no movie that I can like tell you because one has a story, the other one doesn't. So there is no Zack Snyder versus this movie. There's no movie versus this movie. It's just the movie, the Superman movie is a mess. So I could never compare it. That's why I said, my review is I will compare it with Man of Steel only. I can't do that because I can't compare it with any other movie except it kind of reminded me of Naked Gun, kind of like just silly crap, I forgot how it reminded me of Naked Gun, but it was just weird crap happening. But there's like certain points it kept make me think of Naked Gun. Like there's certain things where I guess it gets explained later, but when she was doing that selfie, I didn't know was that supposed to be comedy. Like I said, there are certain things that was that meant to be laughed at the time. I just thought it was just weird, like scenes like from Naked Gun. There's other things like Jeremy said. It's like the weird thing is like when you're watching a movie, you already can tell like there's something wrong here. Like something like when it cuts to a scene of Lex Luthor saying BC or C or B2, B13 or whatever with the robot thing. You're like, so you're talking faster than what Superman could punch. So why it takes you that time to say these things? You're saying Superman is slower to punch by that time. Like it may because there's no other way around it. Because that was immediately thought in my head is you're trying to tell me Superman takes that long to throw a punch or to do a move, as in I don't want to say the R word, but not smart. Like I think that will only work on that one Spider-Man. That Spider-Man they have on YouTube that's has that flat head and he's like really like not smart. Because that's the only way I can think that will make any sense. So I immediately thought that. But I said whatever. I was still letting it slide. I was just thinking, okay, yeah. And yeah. Yeah, but like Jeremy said, the more you thought about it, the worse it got. But I didn't really think about that, later. I thought that immediately. I was thinking, so I'm not understanding. I think normally anyone is thinking that. So that's something like should be like duh. But normally I think everything about it should be duh, where there should have been no reviewers, as in big reviewers, calling this movie whatever they were trying to say. But yeah, so like I said, the people I brought up, except the guy who starts with a K, everyone I said I'm waiting for said the movie sucked. I said I was waiting for Jeremy, Adam Does Movies, and I think the other one was a C guy, a K guy, the guy I forgot his name right now, Christian or something like that. And but I said sometimes Christian be like saying a lot of movies are pretty good and really aren't, but it seems like he's trying to give you the good whatever. I don't know. But anyways, but the thing is I'm saying is so it's just like I couldn't even do a comparison because they're not two movies that you compare with. One of them has a story. The other one is just gibberish. I don't see any other way to explain Superman's story as in to really like try to play like there was actually a story here that led to something. Because if you think of it, where does it lead to? The story just really falls apart very quickly. And it's kind of weird to even use the word story because there wasn't really a story. Because you go over, the list of. Then he sees aliens fight in the sky, and then he lets his friends fight them. Like I said, people, I would not be too picky. Sometimes I would believe like every once in a while someone needs a break. But I'm just saying that it's just the combining of things. So the point is, you don't get what I'm trying to say is I can't compare them. It's not possible for any superhero movie, not even Disney, Marvel, that is like popcorn flicks. I can't compare them because those are stories that lead to something. I can't think of any Disney Marvel that's ever been that much of a gibberish mess. I can't think of one. I know I can't think of anything. So I don't even like I said. It's the worst one I've ever seen because I don't like the Batman. He's just a guy that solves riddles, and I kind of want to say you can't even like compare like the Batman. I mean, what I'm just trying to say is. Yeah, so I mean, I get he was solving riddles of the Riddler, wasn't doing too much, blew up a whole bunch of people on the highway for the Batman, and then let the city gets overflooded. So it's not. But I'm just saying is at least have like a line, like not zigzagging all over the place as in story wise, and just uh, being like, oh, I just hate you, I want you dead. So all that other stuff that's just nothing. I just hate you. That's just lazy as shit. But anyways, I gotta go. I gotta go. So I don't want to the point is, I've been saying it several times. It's just it's not possible to compare those two. And also just to any other movie I can think of. So I know there's to be the internet things like Zack Snyder side, as in like, when they're doing those titles or trying to verse like with Zack Snyder universe versing this. It's not even a video to watch because you can't compare it to any universe that I have ever seen, not even the cartoon. The cartoons weren't that dumb. I know all the cartoons in the world, they can come up with some kind of cartoon that was really gibberish. I don't know. But anyways, before I go, what I thought a good Lex Luthor would be? I saw the clip of when a cartoon when it's a known one, but it's not a good cartoon. But it's the one where Clark Kent, as in Superman, Clark Kent goes interview Lex Luthor in prison, and and then that monster comes out and goes after Lex Luthor, and Clark has to pretend like he's not Superman and keep Lex alive or something. I noticed things like weird things is Superman let a whole bunch of people die just to save Lex. And then he turns them into ice. There's a point I'm trying to get to this. He blows these prisoners and makes them the ice. And then you watch the monster. He goes through the ice people as in kills them. I noticed that. But the thing is, I felt like, who would be a good Lex Luthor when I was watching that? That one is I don't know if he's like completely black, but he's like, I don't know if he's light skinned, but he's like a exercise thing. Somehow he's been in Navy or military, and he's supposed to be like known as this big fit guy that just does a lot of cardio and crap. And he was reminding me of that scene. I was thinking, even though he's not an actor, I think you could pull him off, like, how The Rock was a wrestler and became an actor and stuff, and make him a good Lex Luthor. Like, he really, fit as a Lex Luthor, as in one of the cartoon ones we know. And when I was watching the movie, I didn't like this Lex Luthor at all. I didn't. But it was, I got to go. I can't tell you, like, there's no, like, from a normal person, it should not have explained this. So I can't really explain, and for me, I wouldn't say it's like, Zack Snyder version has thrill, tense moments. I'm guessing in the idiot world, they feel like there was thrilling and moments. Like Jordan was saying, like, there's some scenes that, felt like emotional, but then he added with a joke. Or like, what scene was trying to be emotional? Let me pause real quick. Because I'm going to pause quick. You know how I keep seeing these like weirdo people on YouTube saying, I don't like an angry, whiny Superman and Zack Snyderverse. So like, what part? So what part was trying to be emotional? Oh, wait, I guess the part where Lex shoots the guy. and that guy was like, it was taking me out because of his voice. And then I was like, why are you crying, dude? Well, like, how did you start going? He killed him. It's like, is this your first time seeing Lex to be a bad guy after he has your kid? So I'm just saying is everything was easily questioned. Like what I'm trying to say is that when he said B13 at the second, it wasn't. Then usually you start questioning things at the end of the movie, but everything that kept happening in the movie was easily questioned. Like what? Everything was questioned. Like how did Lois know just walk in and start talking to the justice team, whatever, or something? I don't know. Was that supposed to be funny? We kept calling it like, and it's like no, it's supposed to be called the Justice League, so it's funny because he's calling Justice Team or whatever he was calling. It's like, is that the joke? I actually never knew when there was supposed to be something funny, and I only guess is the part where the doll was licking, whatever. I'll just say it now, the baby. But anyways, I gotta go. But yeah, yeah, I'm just saying this. So I don't click these videos where, of course, because you know why they're going to have that. Zack Snyder versus James Gunn universe, but you really cannot compare them. But you can't compare the Superman movie to even Disney Marvel. I could not tell you if they rebooted Disney Marvel and this is what it was. I don't know how. Because the thing is, I know it would be attacked if it was coming off of a Disney Marvel side. So that's why it's so weird. It's like some kind of dividing thing that makes people hate something and dislike them. So I know for sure if this was on a Disney Marvel side and it was a story like this would be attacked. Definitely. But it's just something weird that I don't fully understand, but I've seen people hate really good stuff because of some kind of like dividing or agenda they have of just anything. And I talked about that in my last video about this. But that's all. I just wanted to make it clear. I couldn't compare them. There's no way I can't compare it with any side of anything. All right, peace. I got to go.